Namaskara. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Request all of you to kindly take your seats. We have just received several calls that some people are stuck in the traffic, so they have made a request that they'll be arriving here in a few minutes. So keeping the request in mind, we would be starting the event in the next few minutes. There are some seats. I'm seeing some of the esteemed participants standing on either side of the hall. Request all of you not to crowd, because it would go a long way in ensuring that the event will be a success. It depends only on your cooperation, so please do not stand anywhere in the way and help yourselves to go and take your seats. ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಇರತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಆಸನಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ತಾವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಸಹ ಆಸೀನರಾಗಿರಬೇಕಾಗಿ ಕೋರಿಕೆ. ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮವನ್ನು ಕೆಲವೇ ನಿಮಿಷಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಆರಂಭಿಸುತ್ತೇವೆ. Ellarigu namaskara. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we all agree that India requires higher education institutions that prepare students for global knowledge environments rather than rely solely on traditional teaching models. RISM, Ramaiah Institute of Science and Management, will be uniquely focused on STEM and management disciplines, offering rigorous foundational science programs designed to develop transferable technology skills. It's indeed gratifying to note that the University at Albany, the State University of New York, and the Ramaiah Institute of Science and Management are forging a new model for international partnerships in higher education. On behalf of the Honorable Chancellor and Management of Ramaiah Institute of Science and Management, I am Shankar Prakash, extending a very, very warm welcome to all of you, ladies and gentlemen, to the launch of Ramaiah Institute of Science and Management. ತಮಗೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಈ ಒಂದು ಅಭೂತಪೂರ್ವ ಐತಿಹಾಸಿಕ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ವಾಗತ ಸುಸ್ವಾಗತ. As per the wonderful tradition of the Ramaiah group, at the outset I would request all of you to kindly rise for the Ramaiah anthem. ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಎದ್ದು ನಿಲ್ಲಬೇಕಾಗಿ ವಿನಂತಿ.
ಶ್ರೀ ಗಣನಾಥುನಿ ಶಾರದ ಸತ್ಕವುಲನು ಸಹಜ ಯೋಗಿ ಮುನುಲನ್ ಸುರುಲನ್ ದೇವ ಬ್ರಾಹ್ಮಣ ಧನ್ಯುನಿ ಸಕಲಾಂತರ್ಯಾಮಿ ಹರಿಣಿ ಚಾಲ ಭಜಿಂತುಂ. ಜ್ಞಾನಂ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನಂ ಚ ಭಕ್ತಿ ಸಹಿತಂ. ಜ್ಞಾನ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನ ವಿದ್ಯಾ ವಿನಯ ಭೂಷಣ ಈ ರಾಮಯ್ಯ ಸಮೂಹ ಸಂಸ್ಥಾನ. ಜ್ಞಾನ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನ ವಿದ್ಯಾ ವಿನಯ ಭೂಷಣ ಈ ರಾಮಯ್ಯ ಸಮೂಹ ಸಂಸ್ಥಾನ. ತಾರೆ ನಿಹಾರಿಕೆಯಾಗಲಿ ಈ ಮಾಲಿಕೆ, ಜಯವೆನ್ನುವ ಈ ಸಂಸ್ಥಾನಕ್ಕೆ. ದ್ರಷ್ಟಾರರು ಕಟ್ಟಿದ ಕನಸಿನ ಸಾಮ್ರಾಜ್ಯವಿದು, ದೀಪದೊಳು ಪ್ರದೀಪಗಳ ಬೆಳಗುವ ಶ್ರದ್ಧಾ ಸ್ಥಾನವಿದು. ಅರಿವಿನ ದಿಗಂತದಾಚೆಗೆ ಜಿಗಿಯುವ ಸಂಪನ್ಮೂಲವಿದು, ಗೃಹ ಗೃಹದಲ್ಲಿ ಗೃಹ ನಿರ್ಮಾಣಕ್ಕೆ ತಂತ್ರಜ್ಞಾನದ ಸೋಪಾನವಿದು. ಮಿತಿಯಿಲ್ಲದ ಅಮಿತ ಜ್ಞಾನಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧನ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರವಿದು. ಪ್ರತಿಭೆಯ ಸಾಧನೆ ಮಾಡಲು ಸ್ಫೂರ್ತಿಯ ಕೇಂದ್ರವಿದು. ಅಜ್ಞಾನದ ಕತ್ತಲೆ ನೀಗುವ ಸುಜ್ಞಾನದ ಸೂರ್ಯನ ರಶ್ಮಿದು. ಜಗದೋದ್ಧಾರದ ಹೊಂಗನಸನು ಹೊತ್ತಿದ ಅರಿವಿನ ತಾಣವಿದು. ಅರಿವಿನ ಹಣತೆಯು ಬೆಳಕನ್ನು ಚೆಲ್ಲಿದೆ, ಅಸಂಖ್ಯಾತ ಕಿರಣಗಳು ಎಲ್ಲೆಡೆ ಹೊರಹೊಮ್ಮಿವೆ. ಜಯವೆನ್ನುವ ಈ ಸಂಸ್ಥಾನಕ್ಕೆ.
Please sit down. Well, ladies and gentlemen, at this juncture, it's my pleasure to request the dignitaries to please come over for the traditional lighting of the lamp. First of all, I would request Dr. M.R. Jairam, Chairman, Gokul Education Foundation Medical and Honorable Chancellor of RISM. I would also request Dr. Havidan Rodriguez, the President of the University at Albany, State University of New York, to please come over. Shri Gurusharan Golerkeri, Executive Director and Chief Strategy Officer of Gokul Education Foundation Medical. I would also request Professor B.N. Raghunandan, former Dean, Aerospace Engineering, ISA and Chairman of RISM Task Force. I would also request Professor Carol Kim, Provost, University at Albany, to please come over. I would also request Professor Tenkurusi Keshav Das, Vice President, Research and Economic Development, University at Albany, also to please join in for the traditional lighting of the lamp. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's indeed a matter of great pride for the state of Karnataka in general and Bengaluru in particular that are. I would also request Shri Pallam Raju, sir, to please come over for the traditional lighting of the lamp. Former Minister for Human Resources Development, Government of India, to please come over. Dr. M. Pallam Raju also to please join in. Shubham kurun tvam kalyanam arogyam dhana sampada Shatru buddhi vinashaya Dipajyoti namostute. Well, ladies and gentlemen, friends from the print, electronic and social media have come here in large numbers. Let's give a round of applause for all our media friends who have taken time off and be present here as a tremendous amount of support for the Ramaiah Institute of Science and Management. We would like to thank all the dignitaries for traditionally lighting of the lamp, signaling the beginning, the launch of Ramaiah Institute of Science and Management, a very, very important moment in the growth and development of the entire nation. Well, the vision of the Honorable Chairman is to make RISM a truly distinct learning institution that delivers a globally benchmarked curriculum and resources. At this backdrop, most of us will be having a question in our mind. Why? Why Ramaiah Institute of Science and Management? Why? And why now? So to answer those questions, we have a RISM foundation film. Let's sit back for the next few minutes and let's watch the video, the foundation film. Let's have the video, please.
The world is transforming in real time. At the center of this shift stands India and its innovation hub, Bengaluru. Here, ideas become industries, and shaping that future demands a new kind of capability. From the House of Gokula Education Foundation Medical, established in 1979, a milestone in a broader legacy of more than 6 decades, where the Ramaiah Group built institutions that shaped lives across education, healthcare, and research. Institutions built with unyielding conviction. Conviction in excellence. Today, that legacy enters its next chapter. Introducing a distinct deemed to be university, the Ramaiah Institute of Science and Management, in collaboration with State University of New York at Albany. RISM.
Every generation is called upon to build the future. This is India's moment. Our universities must move beyond teaching and inspiring learning, beyond knowledge to application, beyond silos to integrate thinking, beyond publication to solutions that change the lives. RISM was created to make this transformation possible because the future cannot wait. That's why RISM, that is why now.
Moving beyond silo-based models to create a true learning university rather than just a teaching university, where technology, engineering, science, and management no longer operate in isolation, but together. Through a deep academic partnership with the State University of New York at Albany,
This partnership between the Ramaiah Institute of Science and Management and the University at Albany speaks to the innovative work that has taken place here at the University at Albany. It would be a key partner that would allow them to build their academic, their research, their industry, technology, infrastructure in a way that would also have a public impact that would serve the public good in India as well.
RISM will bring global academic rigor directly into the learning experience, not as aspiration, but as operating reality. At RISM, industry is not peripheral to education. It is embedded within it. Students work alongside engineers, researchers, founders, and practitioners, learning inside the environments where the future is already being built. This is not education designed only to deliver degrees. It is education designed to build capability, to prepare students not simply for employment, but for significance. It moves into solutions that improve lives. Because research matters most when it changes the world outside the laboratory.
To all those of you aspiring students who are going to be the leaders of India in the next 10 years, come join RISM. Come help build the future. Welcome to RISM.
The institutions that shaped the last century taught students how to fit into the world. The institutions that shape the next century will teach them how to lead change in the world. RISM is built for that future.
Thanks for that wonderful response. We now move on. At the outset, I would request the Executive Director and Chief Strategy Officer, Sri Gurucharan Gullarkeri, to please come over here and give us more insight with the strategic address. And Sri Gurucharan comes in with a tremendous amount of experience of more than 3 decades in public service. His expertise in governance, public policy, and institutions leadership will go a long way towards strengthening the institution. And ladies and gentlemen, please note that his notable achievements include leading key public policy initiatives and authoring several influential books, including India, The Making of a Nation, Pivotal People, Ideas, and Institutions. So please put your hands together and let's welcome on stage Shri Gurucharan Gullarkeri.
Honorable Chairman of the Gokula Education Foundation Medical and Chancellor of the Ramaiah Institute of Science and Management, Dr. M.R. Jaira, Honorable Dr. Avidan Rodriguez, President of the University at Albany, members of academia, industry leaders, advisors of the Gokula Education Foundation Medical, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to all of you. Today is a red letter day in the history of the Gokula Education Foundation Medical. A happy, important, and memorable day. We are gathered here today not merely for the start of a new institution. We are gathered here for the launch of India's next generation distinct greenfield STEM university. With the Ramaiah Institute of Science and Management, or RISM as we commonly refer to it, we are launching an entire ecosystem of higher education learning. Let me set the context. How was RISM conceptualized? And how is it being brought alive? A little over 2 years ago, I was traveling with Chairman Jairam And on the flight to Delhi, he told me that he wanted to discuss important matters of future strategy. That evening in Delhi, over 2 hours, to my complete amazement, Dr. Jairam unveiled his vision of what kind of universities India needs for the future. I remember the essence of what he described. We must move, he said, from being mere teaching institutions to becoming learning institutions. We must combine knowledge with practice that will be central to imparting skills. We must have anchor industry partners who will be key to developing problem-solving skills. And finally, he told me that we must benchmark ourselves against global standards. In his quiet, unassuming manner, Chairman Dr. Jairam told me that there are moments in a country's journey when new institutions must emerge to meet new realities. In this backdrop, I want to mention an interesting aside. The occasion for the visit to Delhi was that Chairman Jairam, in his capacity as the president of EPSI, the apex educational representative body with over 7,000 members, had conceptualized 2 white papers, one on NEP implementation and another on international collaboration for higher education in India. He presented these papers to the Higher Education Minister of Education, Government of India. At the time, he told me, go and meet the Secretary Higher Education and present the papers to him as well. The Secretary Ministry of Education read the executive summaries that Dr. Jairam had written. He paused and said to me, you must tell Dr. Jairam to establish a distinct greenfield STEM university. When he said that, then I paused and said, if I did go back and tell Dr. Jairam what you have asked me to, he will agree and you will have the application on your desk next week. The rest is history. Gokula Education Foundation Medical is the only institution in several years that has been granted a distinct category STEM university. Friends, when we began conceptualizing RISM, we asked ourselves a simple question. What should a truly next generation STEM university look like? The answer eventually centered on 4 foundational pillars. The first is global benchmarking. That is why our partnership with the University at Albany is so important. This is not merely a collaboration agreement. It is a knowledge partnership. A partnership centered on co-developed curricula, faculty engagement, shared academic standards, international pathways, research collaboration, and globally benchmarked quality. The students of RISM in the future will have the opportunity of a 4+1 or 3+2 international pathway. The second pillar is deep industry integration. This, ladies and gentlemen, is where RISM differs most visibly from traditional educational models. For decades, universities and industry have often operated in parallel worlds. Students spend 4 years acquiring knowledge. Industry spends the next several years, making them productive. At RISM, industry is not positioned at the end of the educational journey. Industry is embedded throughout it. Allow me to describe what we call our own industry integration stack. There are 5 interconnected layers. The first is curriculum co-design, programs shaped jointly by academic experts and industry practitioners. Second is co-teaching, faculty members working alongside professors of practice and industry specialists. The third is embedded laboratories and centers of excellence, learning environments where students engage with real technologies and real systems. Live problem statements every semester, students working on authentic challenges rather than purely theoretical exercises. And finally, a 3-year capstone project linked directly to industry immersion and career pathways. In other words, at RISM, education is no longer separated from application. Learning and doing become part of the same process. The third pillar is translational research and innovation. India does not suffer from a shortage of ideas. India suffers from a shortage of pathways that move ideas from laboratories to society. Too often, innovation stalls between discovery and deployment, between prototype and product, between publication and impact. What innovation scholars described typically as the valley of death. We are strong on TRL 1 to 4, the technology readiness level 1 to 4, but it is from TRL level 5 to 7 that we often slip. RISM has been designed to help bridge that gap. Our aspiration is simple and straightforward: to create an ecosystem where ideas move from lab to prototype, prototype to validation, validation to market, and market to societal impact. That is the essence of translational research, and that is the research culture RISM seeks to build. The fourth pillar is to engage globally renowned faculty. I must say, RISM has received overwhelming response from the best and brightest of faculty. So we have been able to build, with the vision of our chairman, to assemble a talented team of scholars that blends deep experience and youthful exuberance. Let me dwell briefly on how the curricula and syllabi are designed creatively at RISM and how it differentiates us from other engineering colleges. Thanks to our academic team, led by Dr. Professor Raghunandan, former Dean of Engineering and the Chair of the Aerospace Engineering Department of the Indian Institute of Science, and comprising Professor Y. Narahari from the Indian Institute of Science, Professor Uday Desai, Founding Director of IIT Hyderabad, Professor C. Pandurangan from the Indian Institute of Technology, Madras, and now with Indian Institute of Science, Professor Shiva Shastri, who spent several years at the University of Akron, Professor Gangadhar, who was at FET Pina, now with RISM, and Professor Viraj Kumar. RISM has designed what is described by Professor Shiva Shastri as a resilient engineering framework. At the heart of this framework is the idea that an engineering graduate must be able to move across disciplines, across domains, and across jobs. The future of engineering lies in convergence and system integration. That is what RISM by design offers. The challenge before universities is no longer to prepare students for a specific profession. It is to prepare them for multiple careers across a lifetime in a world where technology continuously reshapes work. I must emphasize, ladies and gentlemen, that the significance of RISM lies not merely in its programs, infrastructure, or partnerships, all of which are excellent. Its significance lies in the educational model it represents. I want to mention that my colleague, Venki Valuri, who is from industry and is the vice chairman of the Ramaiah Academy Foundation, in a moment of epiphany, pointed out what is truly remarkable about the RISM ecosystem being launched today. He said, it is the triad of institutions that circumscribe the learning environment. The triad includes RISM, which is the STEM university that is being launched today, the Ramaiah Academy Foundation that provides skill development support through micro-credential and certificate programs for RISM students, and VUHA, the Deep Science Translational Research Center that gives RISM research support to move their ideas from prototype to commercial production. A student who enrolls with RISM, therefore, benefits from a 360-degree learning perspective and benefits from all three institutions. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, I want to briefly dwell on the elephant in the room, the impact of artificial intelligence on higher education. Artificial intelligence is not merely introducing a new technology into classrooms and campuses. It is fundamentally altering the meaning of knowledge, of learning, and expertise. The question that Indian higher education must confront, with urgency I might add, is whether the faculty themselves are prepared for this transition. The uncomfortable answer is that from a pedagogical perspective, many in India are not prepared. The AI challenge to higher education is often framed as a technological challenge, but the deeper disruption is epistemic. AI compels us to revisit foundational questions. How do we know what we know? How do we know what we know to be true? What distinguishes information from understanding and understanding from wisdom? For centuries, universities operated on a relatively stable architecture of knowledge transmission. Faculty possessed expertise, students acquired it. The teacher was therefore the sage on the stage. And content delivery through didactic classroom lectures was the norm. AI disrupts that model completely. If universities continue to reward memorization and rote reproduction, AI will outperform students and perhaps even teachers. That is why at RISM, the future of higher education is focused not on the product but on the process of learning. Let me just mention briefly that as a professor of practice at the School of Law and School of Social Sciences, I teach undergrad and graduate classes. When I give a problem to my students, I am not interested in the solution as much as I am interested in how the student is thinking about the problem. In the age of artificial intelligence, the enduring differentiator will be human intelligence, curiosity, creativity, judgment, ethics, empathy, and the ability to work across disciplines. This will be at the heart of learning at RISM. Without going into details, suffice it to say, RISM has established the Learning Innovation Center, which is led by Professor Shiva Shastri, for faculty training and development at RISM. And we'll be working very closely with the university at Albany to develop this center. The Learning Innovation Center will serve as the university's catalyst for pedagogical transformation, equipping faculty to integrate AI, interdisciplinary thinking, experiential learning, and evidence-based teaching practices in ways that will strengthen those attributes of human intelligence that matter most in the future: critical thinking, conceptual clarity, ethical reasoning, and problem solving among students of the next generations. It is these attributes of human intelligence that we wish to reinforce at RISM in the era of artificial intelligence. Today, therefore, ladies and gentlemen, it is not simply the launch of a new institution. It is the launch of a new possibility, a possibility that India can create globally benchmarked universities rooted in Indian realities. The journey ahead will not be easy. Great ecosystems are never built overnight. Buildings can be constructed in years. Academic cultures take decades. Institutions, however, as our chairman, Dr. Jairam, reminds us constantly, takes over 100 years to be worthy of being called an institution of eminence. But every great institution begins with a vision. And today, together, we take the first step towards that vision that Chairman Jairam has articulated. And together, academia, industry, faculty, and students, we can realize this vision in substantial measure. Let us together build the future. On behalf of the Gokula Education Foundation Medical, I thank all of you for joining us on this important occasion. Thank you.
Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, together let's build the future. Let's give a huge round of applause for Shri Gurucharan Kullarkeri for a highly thought-provoking and inspiring strategic address. At this juncture, it's my privilege and pleasure to request the Honorable Chairman and the Honorable Chancellor of RISM, Dr. M.R. Jairam, to please come over. I would also request Dr. Avidan Rodriguez, the President of the University at Albany, State University of New York, to please come over for the official launch of RISM. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the countdown has begun. I would request the Honorable Chairman to press the button. 3, 2, 1, and here we go. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was indeed a very great moment, and we are all lucky to be a part of today's program. We are all aware Dr. M.R. Jairam is a visionary educationist, industrialist, and philanthropist. His achievements has gone beyond borders. Internationally, he has been acclaimed as a true educationist, and for his service to higher education and healthcare, he has been given several doctorates, and some of the important ones are the honorary doctorates from the Coventry University and University of Illinois, Chicago, for his impeccable service. And importantly, he has made M.S. Ramaiah a global name under his able leadership. So without much ado, please give a huge round of applause for Dr. M.R. Jairam, the chairman of Gokula Education Foundation Medical and Honorable Chancellor of RISM, to please come over and address all of us in the form of Chancellor's address. ಬಂಧುಗಳೇ, ಜೋರಾದ ಚಪ್ಪಾಳೆಯೊಂದಿಗೆ ಸ್ವಾಗತಿಸೋಣ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ M.R. Jairam.
Surrendering myself to the divine. The president of the State University of New York, Albany, University of Albany, Mr. Havidyan Rodriguez Ji, Mr. Pallam Raju Ji, Professor Raghunandan, Mr. Professor Carol Kim, Provost of the University of Albany, Professor Keshav Das, Venkatesh Velluri, members of the board of the management of the Gokula Education Foundation, the advisors of the Gokula Education Foundation Medical, the distinguished guests today, and members of the faculty of the Ramaiah universities. This is a great day for us. It has taken me almost 25 years of dreaming about what has come about today. It was great thought. God gave me an opportunity to be in the higher education for the last 55 years. I spent all my time with the knowledge people along with me, respecting them, learning from them every step that I moved. It was a journey for me, my lifelong journey. It is an experiential learning that has taken me to make what is today a great day. The question everybody asks is, why RISM? Ramaiah Institute of Science and Management. Why Albany? The University of Albany from US, New York State, Albany, State of University in Albany. To go back to these two questions, how it started the journey is very important. Almost 25 years back, when my father, almost 30 years back, when he left, there was a void But I thought I saw the great light in front of me. I thought this is the time that let that legacy be continued and make that legacy something important to the larger section of society of this country itself. So the thinking, as I said, that I was always surrounded by the knowledge people. What I learned from them is that we are all our institutions in this country are mostly of teaching institutions. No doubt they have made a name. They have made what people today, the whole world is talking, the knowledge people. We are the suppliers of knowledge people to every country. This is the greatest, I think, the gift that the countries, that India has given to this knowledge sector. But what has happened? Have we in India have made that change? That is the biggest question that we are all been discussing the last 30 years or 25 years. One day I was sitting with some people and talking to them, some 2 or 3 professors from the Institute of Science 30 years back. I was saying, can we make some change? Can we change the way in which we can build an institution? What can take the next step? They were all of the opinion that yes, the skills are the most important, and that is the time when the computer science has just started, and IBM had started the Y2K, the training programs. It was the low-end training programs, but in those days it was something which was great. So why don't you start a skilling first? That's how the skilling with IBM we started. But I thought that's not the way in which we should get into. So I was just dreaming and then said, why can't we make an institution where the learning proposition can be brought into the system? One day it so happened that University of Coventry came to my room. Then they told me, Mr. Jayaram, we are prepared to give you the management school for you. We have come here with all determination to have a tie-up with you, and we are prepared to give you this the management school, which is going to be very popular, and I'm sure that you will accept our offer. I asked them, what are the other branches that you have? And they said, we have the manufacturing sciences. Then I said, I don't think I will go for management, but I would rather go for manufacturing sciences, masters in manufacturing sciences. They said, no, you are not prepared for it. I don't think we can give it to you because you are not yet ready for it. I said, if we are not ready for it, so be it. So let us wait for the day to come. And there ended the conversation. And they went back. After a month or 2, they came back again and they said, Mr. Jayaram, you told us about these manufacturing sciences, masters in manufacturing sciences. We are prepared, we have accepted it, and we are prepared to give it to you. Then that was the first joint venture in knowledge partnership that started. It was a master's in the master program for 1 year. We started with manufacturing sciences. At that time, there was no law that bid us not to do this, where they come here, we do the teaching, and they They conduct the examination and they give the degree. So we started the program, and next 7 years or 8 years it became history. We had almost 12 programs in postgraduate engineering programs, outcome-based programs, where 900 to 1,000 students in that 7 years or 9 years were all from India, from industries, because one provision was there that anybody who has got a diploma, who was working in an industry for 5 years, and they recommend that they could join for the master's program. Our program was 1,000 students passed out from all the industries that you can take in the country, and we did extremely well. It went to the extent that industries were asking us to make these programs in their on their shop floor, and it became so popular. Even with Tatas, we did a program where we made this happen, and we gave them the degree. Now that's the experiential learning that I learned. Then the day came, we had the government of India said, no more of this. We can't allow a foreign university to come here and train our people and give the degree. It is not possible. You have to go and get into the UGC regulatory authorities and AICTE authorities. Therefore, this program has to come to an end. So there ended all that dream that I was thinking about. So it came to an end. So next, we had a very good infrastructure. We said, why not we make it as a university? That's how the Ramaiah University of Applied Sciences came into being. That applied was what we learned from the Coventry University, and that applied for the first time in the country. We have used that word applied 15 years back. Now, the question was, there's something beyond. After getting into the regulatory, as per the UGC guidelines and the AICTE guidelines and the state government guidelines, so we had a lot of people guiding us, telling what to do and what not to do. So I just kept quiet. We said, okay, let's go forward. Let's wait for our time to come. And that gap of about 15 years, I was just dreaming, can that day come when I can really come out with something which is going to happen good for the country. And I saw that the period. I also became the member of the Association of Private Universities in Karnataka. We started that. Few of us got together, started that institution, and today it has become one of the premier institutions for the whole country. Because first time we are conducting an examination, getting students from all over the country to our institutions in Karnataka. And I became the chairman of the Comment K. So we got that experiential learning, how to get students, the best of students, to our universities. So let me learn even that. And after some time, they asked me to become the vice chairman of the Promotion Council of India, Education Promotion Council of India, and later on I became the chairman of that. We have 7,000 universities and 50,000 colleges who are the members of this body. So we are the body, we are the knowledge partners. We want to become the knowledge partners of the government of India. So I'll stop at that and let me just connect some of the things. When this was happening, the industry, and I saw the way in which the whole movement of the whole economy, how it was changing. The industries opened up in 1990s for the first time in this country. But unfortunately, the education sector did not open up. That was a gap that I found. And when I was dreaming, when will that gap be bridged? Till today, after 40 years, we have not seen that gap being built. For the first time in the country, the national education policy has come out. And this higher education policy, and I fortunately became the president of the EPSI, I said to myself, if the education promotion people are not the partners, knowledge partners, where can NPA be there? How can the national policy, the education policy be announced without having any stakeholders? We are the stakeholders, and we should become the partners. That's why I said we must make a white paper, give it to the government, and tell them that we are the partners, the knowledge partners for the NPA. That's how we started discussing with the government of India. So when this was going on, I also learned that there was a gap, though, in the last 40 years, 30 years. So many bits and pieces of education institutions, different type of education institutions came into the country. Deemed to be universities, few of them were given on a basis of one-to-one relationships. But it is not on merit. It was okay, we said we are going to give it the deemed to be universities, and many of the about 120 to 130 universities were established, but without even ever thinking what is this deemed to be university is going to be. And after a few days or few years, they asked me, why don't you apply for that? I said, I'm not going to do it. The simple reason, I don't see any law to starting of this deemed to be universities, because anything can happen in this country. When there is no law, I'm not going to step into that place. And rightly so, after a few years, they brought in so many laws that it became very difficult for the deemed to be universities to run. I kept quiet. I was waiting for an opportunity. Then after a few years, 5 years or 10 years, the things started opening up. Foreign universities were asked to come in. The government of India saw that where is our knowledge sector? Are they playing their role in this development of industries in this country? The answer was no. Then what are we supposed to do? Was the biggest question before them. That's how the NPA came into being. If you want to know, the NPA came because there was a gap between industry and the knowledge sector. When this gap was found, they started saying that, okay, we will allow the foreign universities to come into the country. First time they gave us permission for foreign universities to come into the country. And they said, we are going to give the freedom in the NPA for people to start institutions, universities, and give them the freedom to run the universities. That was the time that I started thinking about it. Can we start? Now the time has come. When the law has come into place, can we start thinking about it. And I started dreaming. From the last 2 years, I started dreaming about it. When I started dreaming about it, I wanted a partner. Without a partnership, what is that I can do? I had to learn. I don't think there was anywhere, even the IITs were all very good institutions. I asked them in one of the alumni of the IIT institutions when we were also we gave them the our contribution to building up of that center. And when all the IIT members were there, I asked them one question. Can you give us an outcome-based system in the university where we can have this learning proposition, not the teaching proposition? Can you help us to do it? Then they said, how much money are you going to give us? I said, please wait. Let's see about it later on. So they said, no. I said, are you serious about it? They said, look here. Government of India is saying you must stand on your own. So you must earn. For everything you must earn and you must stand. So there is no funding. Now who is going to do this? If you want to give the curriculum, and who is going to create this? Who is going to spend for this? I said, okay, let's wait for it. I just left it at that stage. Then the time came so I said, okay, let us start with this. So we needed an institution of making it as a learning institution, University of Learning. So that's how Mr. Gurucharan came into he helped me. He became my younger brother. And he started sitting with me and every stage telling me, helping me out and researching what are the things that we have to get to know or how to develop this type of a thinking process to make a new university in the country. So along with him, I started having 2 or 3 other people from University of Science. We started thinking about it very seriously, how to go about. So this is how and that's the history. So the government of India asked, I think Mr. Gurucharan has already told you. So they asked us to apply, and we have applied. And they have given us. So this time, I wanted a partner. So now you know why RISM came into being. Now, this is my answer to that question. Now, why the University State of Albany? Why are we taking them as our partners? So we had a very good relationship with number of institutions. In this 20 years of my going around the world, having number of universities, I was very keen to understand, learn from them. And if there's anything, if anybody was prepared to come and help us, I would say, why don't you come and please become my partner? Why don't you help me? That's how some individuals started coming in, and we made a lot of change, learning from them how we run our institutions. Let me tell you very frankly today. In our hospital, we started the bone marrow transplant with the help of one Italian from University of Chicago. When he came and said, Mr. Jairam, I want to help the poorer countries and the neglected where we can bring this bone marrow transplant into India. And I'm giving them, I I'm going around the world to, I've gone to Nepal, I've gone to some of the African countries, helping them to do these things. I said, why don't you come and help me? He agreed. And today, we have an institution of the bone marrow transplant which has been accredited by the world bodies. First time in the country, only one institution that has been accredited. That means to say that we have followed every rule in the book and we have implemented it. And this approval, today we have got more than 1,800 transplants which are going around, and all over the world we are getting now, number of institutions are coming forward to make us, can we partner with you so that we can get that benefit of low cost, where we can get the benefit of that. Now, like that, physiotherapy. Now I'm just giving you examples of examples. When I went to a Belgium university, I went round, then I saw one building. I said, what is this building? He said, this is physiotherapy. It's a huge building. I said, you want physiotherapy? Such a huge building, what are you doing there? Because I had seen in University of Illinois, physiotherapy was about 5,000 square foot area. It was just a small area. And I saw whatever that they were doing. When I came here and I saw this huge building, I said, what are you doing in this 50,000 square foot area? What is that change that you're doing? And I spent almost 7 hours in that place, and it changed my mind. I came back. I told the physiotherapy department, please go to Belgium. I have spoken to them. Please sit with them, bring a collaboration, and try to develop. Today, we have a physiotherapy department which is the number 1 institution in the country. We have learnt it. You talk of any, the department in physiotherapy, it has been approved and it has been done as per the international standards. Now they have gone and they want to further develop the relationship. Today or tomorrow they will be there in Belgium. They have invited us. And 2 or 3 other departments, bioinformatics is one of the departments where our university is going. They have said, we want to join with you of creating a bioinformatics. And we have sent a team of people to study and learn from them to make this happen. Now, this is the learning curve. So we wanted a partner who is prepared to help us. We wanted them as elder brothers. We wanted our partners to be elder brother, and I wanted to be a younger brother to learn. You must understand the philosophy of our institution. Jnanam Vijnanam Cha Bhakti Sahitam. This is our philosophy. University of State of Albany is our elder brother. I am a younger brother. I have come to you to learn. I am bowing my head to learn. I want to learn for my country, for my people. Now, after going round the world, we did not get into state of Albany, but we had 3 or 4 very good opportunities. But somehow or other, we are not able to get into there because we were talking on a different level. So that's why things did not I said, we wanted a knowledge. We wanted knowledge partner. We didn't want to have a partnership of a university as equals. And they give us their curriculum and you pay for them. And whatever that they give you, you pay. That is it's a commerce, the agreement. That was not the thing what we were looking for. We were looking for something more. We wanted a knowledge partnership. Now, when we thought of this knowledge partnership, that only one institution, let me tell you this, only one institution, after 1.5 years, who came forward and said, Mr. Keshavadas came here. He said, Mr. Jairam, I know the Ramaiah institution. I know everything because he was previously in some other institution which we had lot of interest. And he had gone through the way in which we were working. And he had helped us. He said, yours is an institution we would like to partner, knowledge partner. I said, are you serious about this relationship? He said, yes, we are very serious. Because if you are coming forward, I will tell the president, and please let me know, we can have a discussion. That's how when I went to the University of Albany, the first thing that I came about was this friendship. We shook hands and said, now we are friends from now onwards. You are my elder brother, I am your younger brother. Let's start this knowledge partnership. That is what today it has come to. This is the only institution in the country where we have a knowledge partnership with a foreign university. Now this is all today is a history. Now what is tomorrow? This has become history now. What is tomorrow? Tomorrow is the biggest challenge before us. Why did we start this? To help the industries. If industries and skills are not given to our young generation, that gap still remains. How are we going to integrate the skills for our young generation and industries to come together, make them as part and parcel of the development for the better good of the society. Societal good, for the larger good. How do we make it happen? That is now the challenge that we want to bring in a learning institution, a skill development institution which can create or give the best of skills from the highest to the lowest. And we started as Academy, Ramaiah Academy. In next 5 years from now, I'm feeling that is going to become the first Ramaiah Academy or University for Skills. First time, I'm sure that will come because we have started that work from this day. It will take us time to build that infrastructure, people bringing in, trying to learn that knowledge. And when we set forward, I have told Mr. Veluri that in next 5 years from now, you should make this university, skill university, first time in the country. That is the challenge that I have given to him. Not only that, I have said, if industries are not to be helped, then why should we have this university? If we are not able to make them a place of where they can prototype, design it, and make it happen. What is the knowledge is all about? We have not done much. But when you take in the foreign countries, the foreign universities, every university has been tied up. Let me tell you the state of University of Albany. It is mind-boggling. One university, the state of New York's, they have funded $25 billion to this university to build a microelectronics and AI systems for developing for industries itself. Can you imagine what an help the government has given to them? And they have brought the universities and the industry. You name the industry. IBM, GE, Toyo Electricals. You name them. 160 to 165 universities and the industries are there producing what or creating with the help of the knowledge of the people there creating the products. Can you imagine this? That is why RISM has partnered with University of Albany. Sir, let me assure you this. We will not let you down. We have dreamt it. We have the passion to do something for the country. Country is waiting for it. The government has said that we must become $15 to $17 trillion economy. If universities and industry do not come, what is that you can do? Everybody can talk. But please let me know. If universities and the industry do not come together, can you make this happen? 70 years back, when America went to China, where is China today? And where are we today? Let me give you one example to all of you. This is a passion for you to understand where you are. Yes, we feel very bad. When I learned that the AI conference 2025 was held in Hawaii, 3,500 papers in AI was selected. Out of the 3,500 papers, 1,500 papers on AI came from one country, that was China. 500 papers came from United States of America. And 14 to 15 papers came from India. This is where we are. Please let me know. Let me tell you this. This is where we are. That is what makes us to be different today. That is making us different. That is a dream that we have to, what we have to do. Let me make it very clear today. I may not be there to see next 10 years. If God willing, I'll be there. If not, I'll not be there. But let me tell you this. I'll assure you this. Because whatever the sacrifice I've done internally, thinking of God all the time, this is going to happen. This institution will become an institution after 100 years. This will be called as an institution which will serve this country. This is my dream. My legacy is the whole thing that I've done, I'm surrendering it and placing it before you. Now it is for you to make this happen.
and my elder brother. He is there to handhold you to make this happen. We are going as knowledge partners together. This is it. This is the day. The day has dawned. The sun is just rising. Take that ray and go forward. Thank you. God bless us all.
I think all of us must stand and give a standing ovation for here, listen to has led to major institutional transformations. And please note, ladies and gentlemen, he has earned national recognition for his contributions to higher education, public policy, and disaster resilience research. So please give a huge round of applause and welcome Dr. Javidan Rodriguez for his partnership address.
Thank you very, very much. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. My esteemed colleague, my dear friend, and honorable chairman of Ramaiah Institute of Science and Management, and my elder brother, Dr. Jairam, thank you so much for your partnership. Thank you for your vision. Thank you for all that you have done. And together, we will make your dream come true. My distinguished and honorable guests, it is certainly an honor to be here to celebrate the official launch of the Ramaiah Institute of Science and Management. The chairman talked about his path and how we got to today. Little did I know that over 20 years ago, when I brought a research team to India to study the impacts of the Indian Ocean tsunami on communities in Tamil Nadu, in Nagapattinam, in Pondicherry, in Karakal, that really would be the beginning of a path that led us to today. That was the beginning of a path in which we would build and strengthen our partnerships in India. That led the university at Albany to establish 15 partnerships with institutions of higher education in India. That led the university at Albany to today have 500 students from India. This is our commitment. This is why we are here. And while I have been honored to establish dozens of partnerships across the world in higher education, let me be clear about this. This is the most innovative, the most impactful, and the most transformative institutional partnership, international partnership in higher education that you will find. And the University at Albany is proud to have built this partnership with our colleagues here in Bengaluru. Our partnership, let me just say, this partnership
is not symbolic. It is innovative. It is substantive. It is impactful. And it is transformative. Already, curricula are being developed, co-developed between RISM and UAlbany in programs like computer science and engineering. And we're working to bring programs like UAlbany's AI Plus Institute to RISM, joint certificate programs, faculty exchange opportunities, and much more are in development. And today, I am joined by some of the most senior leaders at the University at Albany, Provost and Senior Vice President for implementation of this partnership, as you heard from the Honorable Chancellor. Vice President for Advancement, Farneen Sinai. And our Director of the AI Plus Institute, Balakrishnan Prabhakaran Oprava. This speaks to the importance of this partnership, to our strong commitment to ensure the success of this innovative enterprise, and to our core priorities at the University at Albany. Chancellor Jairam's vision for this institution is truly transformational, and we look forward to collaborating closely with him and our colleagues at RISM as the seeds they have planted here in India's Garden City flourish into a great STEM university for the future. Today, we are celebrating a strong and sustainable partnership that will guide higher education into the future. The truth of the matter is, we must be at the forefront of this dynamic and evolving technology. No, actually, we must be leading it. And that is what RISM proposes to do. The Ramaiah Institute of Science and Management is being designed precisely to thrive in this rapidly changing environment. RISM is being built with a deep understanding of how the economy works today and how it will evolve in the future. Collaborations with industry partners and global partners like Ramaiah and the University at Albany are being infused into the DNA of this new institution. RISM students will have access to global learning opportunities, including curriculum co-developed by RISM and UAlbany faculty, exchange programs, and research collaborations. Here, they will learn to be engaged global citizens. And this is certainly our mission at the University at Albany, and we know that RISM also shares that vision. That's why we are great partners. RISM students won't just learn from textbooks and lectures. They will apply their knowledge to solve real problems, improve lives, and address the world's most pressing challenges. At UAlbany, of experiential learning on our students, pushing them toward deeper understanding and propelling them toward successful careers after graduation. Actually, today we have with us Pallavi Kurana, a doctoral student in communications at the University at Albany. And Pallavi is a clear example of the transformational impact of an education at the University at Albany. And I am delighted to say that Pallavi is a native from Delhi. And so we are delighted to have her as an outstanding student at our university. And this is just not beneficial for students like Pallavi. This type of industry-integrated curriculum also has far-reaching benefits for our economy and our communities. For example, at the University at Albany, we are an anchor institution in our community, in the capital region, in the political capital of the great state of New York, and we generate more than $1.1 billion in economic impact to our communities, given that the work that we do, and we are ensuring that major employers in our regions, in an industry in fields like healthcare, semiconductor manufacturing, life sciences, and engineering have a steady stream of well-qualified graduates ready to fill their ranks. And RISM is establishing itself as an essential partner to industry here in Bengaluru and across this great country of India. And so on behalf of the entire UAlbany team, we are grateful, we are very excited to be an integral part of this effort. You see, since our foundation in 1844, over 182 years ago, internationalization has been a clear core strategic priority at UAlbany for many years. In fact, the University at Albany has been welcoming international students since since Sensaburo Kotsu, a student from Japan, graduated from the University at Albany in 1877. Today, our belief in international partnerships is stronger than ever. Collaboration across borders strengthens our work, infusing new ideas and broadening our perspectives. The benefits of research, curriculum development, and student experiences expands the university's local and global reach, visibility, and impact. So collaborating with the RISM team has already been a tremendously positive experience for all of us. And I look forward to continued evolution of this partnership, and as this partnership continues to come to life. There is so much that we can achieve together for the benefit of RISM, for Bengaluru, for the great country of India, and for the United States of America. So this partnership is much, much greater than two institutions collaborating. It is a transformational opportunity to develop an international model of collaboration and partnership that will be a model to many across this great institution and this great country and across the globe. Our connection with RISM has been bolstered by a shared vision for higher education that meets the needs of students and industry. Chancellor Jairam, my elder brother, and I share a conviction that empowering students to apply the knowledge they gain in the classroom towards solving the great challenges of our communities is the only path forward for higher education. We must provide students the tools, support, and opportunities they need to find success in their careers and in their lives. In doing so, we will help our communities and our industry partners find success today and into the future. Chancellor Jairam and the entire RISM team, your vision for this institution is transformational, and your tenacity in turning that vision into reality is truly inspirational. Whether we focus on the impact of artificial intelligence on our global society, cybersecurity, health and health equity, the development of the semiconductor industry, climate change, weather, disaster management, among many others. These can be shaped and impacted by the work that RISM and UAlbany are doing together. So UAlbany joins you in this critically important and impactful enterprise. The university at Albany is deeply proud to partner with the Ramaiah Institute of Science and Management to build a higher education model for tomorrow. Thank you for entrusting us with this partnership. Together, we are going to build something incredible and truly transformational. Together, we are going to build the future, and we are starting today. And finally, some of you may know that the Great Dane, a dog, is the mascot of the university at Albany. And today I share with you a very important saying or a motto that is critically important for the university at Albany. And it states, today, like every single day, it is a great day to be a Great Dane. And today is a true manifestation of what a truly transformational partnership can do for our countries. Honorable Chairman, my dear friend, my elder brother, thank you, and thank your team for your amazing work.
Indeed, words of great support and encouragement from the Global Partnership address by Dr. Javidan Rodriguez, expressing total happiness and, of course, very happy to be a partner with RISM. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we now move on to another important partnership which we are going to announce now. For this, I would like to call upon Mr. Venkatesh Valluri, the Vice Chairman of the Board of Ramaiah Academy, and also Mr. Praveen Mysore, the Senior Director of the SALT. Please come over, sir, Mr. Praveen Mysore. Please put your hands together for this all-important partnership, the collaboration, the exchange of documents, Mr. Venkatesh Valluri and by Mr. Praveen Mysore. Thank you very much. Thank you. I would request Mr. Praveen Mysore to kindly get back to your seats. I would request Venkatesh to kindly stay back. Well, please put your hands together for Mr. Venkatesh Valluri for his address.
Dr. Rodriguez, Dr. Jairam, I think after the talks which we heard from both of them, the passion just emanates of what we can do to basically drive India forward. Dr. Jairam, thank you very much for your such encouraging words and the journey you've kind of gone through and what you have actually built in the last 40, 50 years. Truly, truly amazing. And Dr. Rodriguez, the commitment, the elder brother, the younger brother synergy, I think it couldn't be depicted even better. Yeah. And my colleague, Gurucharan, I mean, the way he expressed of what the vision of RISM is going to be was truly remarkable. Thank you, Guru. For all the dignitaries who are present here, for all the students who may be at the back and the media, I think there were 2 or 3 aspects which the chairman and Dr. Rodriguez, the president of University at Albany, mentioned. I think knowledge was the key critical foundation of this partnership. I heard during the entire speech of both these stalwarts of sharing knowledge, learning culture, and it wasn't really about an academy where you're actually transactionally engaging with each other. You're basically talking about how do we share knowledge, how do we learn from each other to make it a better world. The other aspect, which is very, very critical in this whole presentation, was what good can we do for the society? What is the legacy we want to really leave behind that the society becomes a better place to live? And I think India is at the threshold with 1.4 billion people of what is it that we can create in the future as all of us, as leaders, as executors, of what is it that we want to leave for the next generation. Today we have challenges from the Middle East. For India specifically, the ability for us to gasify coal, to become completely non-dependent on the imports what we make from the Middle East, the preservation of food, the growth in the semiconductors, the cybersecurity, you name any kind of challenge we have, we need to kind of develop systems, technologies, and the manufacturing capability to take this country forward. And I think in this whole process, we've heard a couple of things. RISM, Ramaiah Institute of Science and Management, becomes the core knowledge engine which is expected to deliver many, many things. And I think in the process, if you've heard the chairman speak, what we are envisioning is that yes, there is a learning institute which we're actually building. Coupled with that, there has to be our ability to engage with the society and with the industry. And how do we do that? And I think Guru kind of mentioned it, laid it out briefly, but I just want to take a couple of minutes to kind of tell that. Is we are building what we call as a triad system. A system which basically tells the future generation that knowledge is one part we will kind of deliver to you. But there's the other part of all of you developing skills which will actually apply this knowledge to build applications, which is for the betterment of the society. So what are we doing? We're actually building a skills academy, and I think the chairman alluded to that. In the next 5 years, Ramaiah will have the largest skills academy in this country, which will actually develop skills for a variety of portfolios, which essentially will deliver value to the society. And the third piece which he mentioned, and I kind of agree with that, is how do we engage with the industry? What is our engagement going to be with the industry? Is it just going to be knowledge? Is it going to be skills? But where do we really deploy these skills? And how do we take these skills forward in terms of developing, whether it's value in terms of wealth creation, whether it's value in terms of actually impacting the society in a very positive way. So for all the youngsters, why is this different for the launch today is because this is a unique combination, which probably you will not find in this country or maybe elsewhere in the world, is you develop an engagement with the industry, you develop skills, and you develop a knowledge center. This triad is what is going to change the complexion of this country, complexion of this market, where we build very, very deep relations with the industry to develop products, applications, and solutions. So you have a knowledge center, you have a skill center, and you have the engagement with the industry to develop these three things in a very, very cohesive manner. And that's where the relationship with University of Albany becomes very important. I think Dr. Rodriguez mentioned about the 160 plus industries they have a relationship with. And I think we talked about the learning culture we're going to build. We're going to learn from them. We're going to learn from them. How did they do it? And I think it was Guru who mentioned that they have it was the chairman who mentioned that they had a $25 billion investment over multiple years. So when you develop applications value for the society, the money will flow. And the next generation will need to learn to understand how do we actually build this value and how do we actually create value for the society. Now, in this direction, as we kind of lay this whole strategy out, our first engagement comes with a global industry, Dassault Systems. And that's how this is really walking the talk of saying that we build this vision, but we also execute on this vision. So our first relationship, the most collaborative relationship we are launching today, is with Dassault Systems. Dassault globally is a $6 billion plus company with a market capitalization of over $50 billion. What are we doing with them? Dassault produces, designs, develops a multiple of technologies in terms of simulating, in terms of designing, in terms of developing products, processes for multiple industries. And as we focus on the high-tech industry in India, from aerospace and defense to semiconductors to cybersecurity to health tech to materials to composites, this triad is actually going to be developing a number of solutions and processes along with our partner now, Dassault, and of course, a knowledge partnership with University of Albany. So ladies and gentlemen, this is not only about today launching this epic knowledge partnership, but also it is about the way we are going to go forward of developing multiple industrial partnerships in India and globally and bring value to this country to take it to the next level, ensuring that the passion and the dream which the chairman dreamt of over the last 20 years is actually going to be in a mode of fruition and in a mode of execution. So I thank you all for you being here. I would like to invite Praveen Mysore on the stage for saying a couple of words, a couple of minutes about Dassault and this collaboration. Thank you, Praveen.
Thank you. Very good afternoon. And I've been truly overwhelmed over the last couple of hours listening to all the passionate leaders here. Okay, truly exciting. And also it's exciting to learn about the vision that all of you leaders carry and the commitment that you're demonstrating to take the education sector, especially the higher education sector, to the next level. Okay, congratulations on this initiative. And I also, from Dassault Systems, we are very glad about this collaboration with Ramaiah Academy Foundation. Here, being a technology partner, jointly with RAF, we are going to be focused on the Industry Innovation Hub, okay, which is primarily going to be dealing with the engineering services, the proto building, the technology exposure to MSMEs, startup communities, and GCCs, etc. Right? The other initiative that we are also planning to drive is the skill building, okay, where the technology access would be given to the student. At the same time, the industry exposure would be delivered. Dassault, over years, have acquired know-how from the industry, working with 12 different segments, namely automotive, aerospace, industry equipment, medical technology, semiconductors, etc. So all this wealth of knowledge that we are going to bring to the students so that the skilling up can happen effectively, right? So about Dassault Systems, many of you may already know, it's a technology company which enables organization in product innovation, okay? The core engineering innovation, which involves the modeling, the simulation, the advanced multiphysics engineering, all of these aspects are enabled. At the same time, solution for manufacturing excellence, which involves advanced robotics, even the ergonomics, where it involves even the manpower to go and then engage in the manufacturing activities, as well in the production planning, with the operations planning, scheduling, etc. And also, it focuses on the project or program excellence, okay, where it brings in the governance, connecting all the people together in the organization, enabling collaboration so that the product comes out at the end of the day, which is right at the first time and also faster to the market, actually. So with this, I conclude my speech, and I congratulate the Ramaiah group on this new initiative, and wishing them all the best. Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's indeed a win-win situation. Let's give a round of applause for Mr. Venkatesh Valluri and Praveen Mysore. Thank you very much for that global partnership. We also have with us Dr. M. Pallam Raju, the founding director of Advanced System in Package Technologies, leading the establishment of a world-class semiconductor OSAT facility in Hyderabad. Ladies and gentlemen, he is a very successful semiconductor entrepreneur. He has also served as India's Union Minister for Human Resource Development and Minister of State for Defense, in addition to being a 3-time member of the Parliament. So combining leadership across technology, public policy and education, Dr. Pallam Raju is widely recognized for his contributions to India's innovation ecosystem and national development. Please give a round of applause and let's welcome on stage Dr. Pallam Raju for his India's Development Imperatives Leadership Address. Welcome to you, sir.
Namaskara. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm honored to be here on this auspicious occasion. And at the outset, let me confess that I am deeply moved by the words of the Honorable Chairman. The passion with which he spoke today spoke so much. At the same time, it was very nice to hear the passion with which President Rodriguez spoke of the commitment. And if you want to put it in the words of Gen Z, what we witnessed today is a bromance. Again, thank you for the honor of being able to speak on this occasion. I've been asked to speak on the subject of the future development imperatives for India, and I'm happy to share my thoughts. So, Honorable Chairman of the Gokula Education Foundation Medical and the Chancellor of the institutions, Dr. Jairam, President of the University at Albany, Dr. Havidan Rodriguez, Provost Carol Kim, Professor Keshav Das, Professor Fardeen Senal, Professor Prabhakaran Balakrishnan, Shri Gurcharanji, Mr. Venkatesh Valluri, Professor Raghunandan, Professor Desai, Professor Kuldeep Raina, Shri Srinivas Murthy, Mr. Shantaram, members and faculty of the various institutions of the Ramaiah Group, students, various dignitaries who've been invited, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. Education, innovation, and knowledge have been at the heart of growth and the progress for every civilization and the evolution of mankind, the enrichment of culture, and the cornerstone for the development of society across the ages. India is an ancient civilization with a rich heritage and culture, a land ruled by various emperors and dynasties, and a checkered history of invasions and conquests, and varied cultural influences across the centuries and decades. This subcontinent, which cradled the wisdom of the ages, had the proud privilege of nourishing ancient universities of learning like Nalanda and Takshashila, with scholars and teachers from the Far East, even as far as China, being a part of that scholastically diverse and enriched environment. India is the land of Sanatana Dharma, the Vedas and the Upanishads, ancient works of wisdom and knowledge that defined our civilization. India has also been the birthplace of Gautama Buddha, whose teachings and learnings had a profound impact on the whole of Asia. In the last decade, two major influences have been of those of the Persian civilization, with its rich impact on literature, arts, and architecture, especially during the Mughal era, and subsequently the influence of European civilization as the East India Empire spread its footprint across the subcontinent from the 17th century onwards. As knowledge is inherent to culture, higher education across the ages has certainly benefited due to these cross-cultural influences. As India moved towards the centenary of independence in 2047, the question before us is not merely how many graduates that we produce, but what kind of nation we seek to become. Will India be a consumer of global technologies or a creator? Will we remain a large market or emerge as the knowledge superpower? Will we import solutions to our challenges or develop them ourselves? These are pertinent questions of the day as we launch RISM. Today, in an integrated and interdependent world, the aptitude for the acquisition of knowledge and skills has evolved, mindful of the primary quest for employment and a livelihood, and especially of those that are in demand across the globe. The evolution of technology and their applications have impacted the world in multiple ways and have become the torchbearers for progress and change. While the yearning for higher education in the arts and humanities continues to be a constant, the modern world has established a premium on scientific disciplines, especially medicine and engineering. Evolving times and technologies too dictated the necessary knowledge or skills for the times. While the early 20th century and the industrial revolution required engineering knowledge of certain domains, the telecom and information technology era necessitated a different caliber of engineering skills and knowledge. Today, in the age of cloud computing, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and data science, all of which are accelerating the pace of technological change, the expectations from higher education are therefore of a different nature. Today's world is also propelled by the spirit of enterprise, and the desire has manifested in India, having a sizable number of registered startups. Coupled with individual aspirations are also the collective drive of a young, adaptive, and aspirational population of India, the changing global environment, the immense potential of the aerospace industry, the imperative need for a strong indigenous defense industrial base, mankind's desire to conquer outer space, and the utopian quest for improving the quality of life on Earth. While keeping these ongoing challenges of the planet in mind, education ought to be shaped by a conscientious society and a responsible world order towards disciplines that impart knowledge for the making a better world and of inventions that benefit humanity. India's development challenge is not merely technological. It is equally about building healthy citizens, sustainable cities, productive enterprises, resilient institutions, and an inclusive society in which opportunity reaches every aspiring young Indian. Technology will undoubtedly be an important enabler of this transformation, but its true value lies in its ability to improve lives, strengthen communities, and expand opportunities for all sections of society. The question before higher education, therefore, is not simply what students must learn, but what capabilities India must cultivate to realize its aspirations as a developed nation by the year 2047. There has to be consciousness of technologies that do not take a toll on the planet, responsible technologies that are energy efficient and do not strain our natural resources. This certainly presents a dichotomous situation of keeping up with technological changes while responsibly balancing growth. But that is where the will of human leadership has to dominate mankind's disruptive temptations. India's greatest strategic asset is not its geography or its markets, but its people. With one of the youngest populations in the world, the coming decades present a historic demographic opportunity. Whether this becomes a dividend or a liability will depend on the quality of education, skills, and opportunities that we create. The challenge before higher education is therefore not merely to produce graduates, but to nurture capable, adaptable, and innovative citizens who can lead India through an era of unprecedented technological and social change. Against the background of evolving expectations from higher education comes the requirement for developing a facilitating environment to sustain an evolving and future-oriented and responsible talent and innovative ecosystem. An academic institution should be a campus that facilitates learning and growth and the realization of dreams, of academic quest and intellectual fulfillment, immersed in a journey of chasing career goals with peers, and towards defining a path to the future. It must be a stimulating environment in sharing and learning and self-realization, of not professional growth alone, but of shaping thought leaders, potential inventors, and entrepreneurs. The university India needs for the future cannot be mere teaching institutions. They must become learning institutions, innovation institutions, and problem-solving institutions. Their success should not be measured only by the number of degrees awarded, by the quality of ideas generated, technologies developed, enterprises created, and societal problems solved. To represent such an ideal future talent ecosystems, the institution should be a comprehensive environment of contemporary knowledge, workshops and labs that impart hands-on experience and experimental validation, with industry-driven partnerships that bring real-world experience into the classrooms and labs. Skills-based learning should be complementary to academics to make the knowledge absorption and its application practical and relevant. Academic fulfillment can only be facilitated by a committed academic faculty, while the world of experimentation, research, and innovation can be shaped in laboratories and workshops with faculty with relevant industry experience or professors of practice. There is an embedded imperative for meaningful industry-led partnership with both domestic industry and multinationals. India's future development will depend not only on our ability to absorb global knowledge, but also on our capacity to create new knowledge. Nations become leaders when they transform universities into engines of discovery, innovation, and entrepreneurship. Universities must therefore become places where new ideas are generated, new technologies are developed, and new enterprises are nurtured. Attaining such an integrated campus of learning and knowledge nirvana requires a dedicated and conscientious leadership, a facilitating environment crafted with proven academic and trusting industry partners, and students who repose absolute faith in the faculty and are motivated to leverage the environment towards fulfilling their professional goals and their collective growth. The larger objective of this ideal amalgamation of academics, research, industry partnerships, and skilling are to carve the path towards translational research, creating marketable products that herald new business opportunities. The Ramaiah Institute of Science and Management and the University at Albany collaboration is an example of the potential for fostering such a futuristic talent ecosystem. While the Ramaiah Group's ideals are of leveraging education and knowledge for the larger good of society, as we've seen from the impassioned pleas of the Chancellor, University of Albany represents the state-of-the-art knowledge confluence of academia and premium industry partnerships that are doing cutting-edge work in semiconductors, microelectronics, AI and quantum computing, and other emerging disciplines of science. In the current global situation of ongoing challenges, the world has been adversely impacted by the ravages of climate change and global disruptions caused by ongoing wars. The world is also apprehensive of emerging technologies such as AI that threaten to accelerate the rate of technological obsolescence and shrink the prospects for the existing pools of knowledge and skilled workers, thereby destabilizing livelihoods and economies. There is also general unrest and anger worldwide amongst the youth today due to widespread unemployment and shrinking opportunities caused due to multiple reasons. As these frontiers deepen, it calls for a higher degree of preparedness to face these ongoing and unanticipated challenges that would be increasing faced by nations and mankind. While semiconductors increasingly continue to remain integral to every gadget and every platform worldwide, emerging technologies like AI are going to be increasingly occupying the core of devices and systems, gaining prominence in each technological cycle of innovation and research. In the semiconductor domain, while India has made its mark globally in industry with its design capabilities, as is evident by the establishment of India offices or global capability centers by every eminent global semiconductor player, it is yet to make a mark as an indigenous product maker. While there have been efforts by government and industries to strengthen this front, an important and integral part of the entire semiconductor ecosystem, a sound semiconductor manufacturing base, had been neglected, probably due to its capital-intensive requirement. This necessity and the need to diversify the semiconductor supply chain had prompted the Government of India to envision the India Semiconductor Mission with an unprecedented $10 billion support grant for its establishment. In the domain of artificial intelligence, while there has been huge capital spent by the Government of India for shoring up the capacity of data centers and a substantial commitment from global players, the need to work on strengthening generative AI for domestic needs presents a huge opportunity in value-added work, and to meaningfully leverage this emergency technology for local needs and towards streamlining delivery and governance. Machine learning and advanced manufacturing are leading to the next industrial revolution, as demonstrated at scale by China. Again, potent technology that portends to disrupt traditional manufacturing bases. How these technologies can be suitably leveraged for the nation's immense manufacturing needs represents another opportunity of great potential. Aerospace and advanced manufacturing are the emerging domains that are heralding how the future pans out. Prime example being the drones, which are being increasingly deployed for humanitarian needs, security and surveillance matters, and a potent weapon in overt and covert warfare, as demonstrated by the ongoing wars. Aerospace has also become the latest technological frontier, not of governments alone, but of industry, as demonstrated by the ongoing efforts of Blue Horizon and SpaceX. There have been exciting new startups in India too, such as Dhruva Aerospace and Skyroot, that are prime examples of entrepreneurship. All these domains call for an industry-integrated, experimental, and workshop-oriented environment led by a problem-solving approach to learning that would foster a cohesive atmosphere of experience, innovation, and knowledge, and help crystallize inventions and products beneficial to humanity. The RISM University at Albany partnership is the first of such knowledge partnerships in India, which have the potential to herald an innovative approach to learning, research, and development. The future will not belong to nations that merely consume knowledge. It will belong to nations that create knowledge. It will not belong to those who imitate technologies, but to those who invent them. It will not belong to societies that prepare students for yesterday's jobs, but to institutions that prepare them to solve tomorrow's challenges. India stands at such a moment in history. The task before us is not simply to educate young people, it is to equip a generation to build a stronger, more prosperous, more innovative, and more humane India. If institutions such as RISM can nurture that spirit of learning, discovery, and leadership, then they will contribute not merely to the success of the students, but to the future of the nation itself. Before concluding, I would like to congratulate Dr. Jairam and President Rodriguez for this wonderful and unique initiative, which is the first for the country. And I'm certain that with your deep commitment and bromance, this will certainly reach great heights. I wish the Knowledge Partnership great success in this noble endeavor, and may God be with you. Thank you, and Jai Hind.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you would all agree with me that was indeed a highly thought-provoking address from Dr. Pallam Raju. Thank you very much. Let's give a round of applause and thank him. Well, ladies and gentlemen, at this juncture, one of the questions which will probably be in our minds is that how RISM will be different in the echelons of higher education in India. For this to explain to all of us, I would request the former Dean of Aerospace Engineering, IASC, and of course the Chairman of the RISM Task Force, Professor B.N. Raghunandan, to please come over here and tell us more about this. So please put your hands together and let's welcome Professor Raghunandan, internationally recognized personality with more than 4 decades of experience. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much for the very generous introduction. The topic there is, or the title is, how RISM will be different in the echelons of higher education in India. I think the speakers before me have told all that I can say about how it's going to be different. In fact, while sitting there, I was wondering if I could use AI and say, give the topic, I probably would get a better lecture than what I can deliver here at this point of time. Let me say that I got involved. How did I get involved at this stage in this particular mission? It's actually very interesting. I am an aerospace engineer, but I did not come here because of my aerospace credentials. I came here because of a very different reason. When I was heading a Center for Application of Science and Technology to rural areas at the Indian Institute of Science, I had opportunities to work with Mr. Srinivas Murthy, who was then the Principal Secretary to Rural Development and Panchayat Raj portfolio in the state of Karnataka. We had to lead a large-scale project, at least at that point of time, which was international. So it was a collaboration. We had the support from United Nations Global Environmental Facility, Government of Canada, Government of India, State Government of Karnataka, and ourselves at the Indian Institute of Science. It was in that I had to interact with him and see that it was a success at the end to how to take bioenergy, which Mr. Venkatesh also talked about, to rural areas and really solve the energy requirement. I mean, that was type of project, and that was how I am here. He called me and said, maybe almost 2 years ago, he said, why don't you come to Ramaiah, your Gokula Education Foundation? We have a small discussion. And I came here, and they presented all that had planned. The dream was there. The vision was there. There were plans for the architecture, what they're going to do, how it's going to come. At the end of the whole presentation, I asked a question which got me entangled with this institution. I asked the question, well, you have everything else, but what are you going to do? What are the subjects you're going to teach? Now, he said, that's why we want you here. Tell us what we should do. I mean, that's where we started. So, I say, Dr. Jairam, Chancellor, President Rodriguez, and the guests, I am not here to dream more. I don't want to extend the dreams that they have already presented. I'm not going to expand the vision that they have already talked about. But I think there are some problems which have been bothering me all the time. I'm going to talk about what action is required. We have already learned about the fact 6,000 universities. I learned something like 1,300 universities in India working on STEM. We produce few lakhs of engineering graduates. Only about 20% get employed in engineering sector. The question is, what really happens to remaining 80% of the graduates? Where are they going? What are they doing? Now, in that sense, are we as universities failing in our responsibility to make them employable? We have been hearing for the last 20 years or so that our graduates are not employable. They are not trained enough. So there had to be something different from what we are doing at the universities. You take the other extreme, you see the university ranking systems. In the top 500 universities, probably we have just about 10 universities which figure in that. Out of 1,300 universities, what are the rest doing? What type of work they are doing? The research activity in most universities are minimal. In India, we have very small, well-known institutions, IITs, Indian Institute of Science, IIMs. You can name, there are just about 30 to 40 such institutions which figure in global ranking. The question, there are national missions talked about by Dr. Palam Raju and others. You may talk of cyber security, you may have the electronic manufacturing, which may be water, climate, whatever it is. We have been making, it's all to me, it appears like a top-down approach where the governments announce national missions. But where is the workforce? Who is producing the workforce for all of them? It's our responsibility as universities to step up and solve the problem. There are innumerable social problems staring into our eyes, right around. Bengaluru, traffic, waterlogging during the rainy seasons, the climate changes. You can look at solid waste disposal, and any number of such social problems are around us. We just read about them and then we think it is somebody else's problem to solve this. It's actually our problem. It's our problem to train people to solve the problems. And again, are we, as universities, are taking up the responsibilities? There are changes taking place in the world, very steep changes. I am reminded of a novel our generation at least read about, The Future Shock by Alvin Toffler, talking about how in 70s he wrote about how the future of the world going to be. And he said the technological changes will be so rapid that people will find it very difficult to adapt. It's very difficult for us. I can't really use the cell phone as efficiently as the younger generation. It's very difficult to adapt to the changes that are taking place. There's a rate of obsolescence is very, very high. Yeah, as an aerospace engineer now, if I think of a shock, to me, the downstream conditions are known. I know what is the final state. But this shock doesn't permit you to predict the future state. It's continuous. We are inside the shock now, unable to respond very effectively. So these are the major questions. So universities are where we are going to train our younger generations to take up the challenges of the future. I think we are not doing enough. We have to do a lot more. As I said, I am the chairman of the task force. Mine is to act, not to extend the dreams and visions. It has already been articulated very well by the earlier speakers. And these answers to this question, or thinking about this question, has given rise to the vision of RISM at that point of time. This has to be a new paradigm where we should place our institution. It should be a paradigm of higher education for generating globally competitive workforce to meet the present and the future needs of the industrial world, and we should try and adapt to the changing technological landscape. We must have innovation-driven researchers. So we have stated our goals. It has also been already told to you all. At the risk of repetition, I'm just saying that we want to have a university, the RISM, global academic benchmarking, deep industry immersion, translational research, and future-focused career pathways are the pillars on which our university should stand. Now, again, I must say, if you look at the newspapers of the day, you see dozen advertisements of different universities. These statements, you might find at many of them. So are we just repeating these oft-repeated slogans or cliches, or are we going to do something very different? That's where RISM is going to be positioned itself. So the question is not so much about stating what we want to do, but it's about executing it. I think the task of making it happen is the most important part. A greenfield university is a great opportunity. It's a great opportunity. We don't have the baggage. We can think afresh. We can bring about the type of, we can respond to the visions. We can do many things there. It's a wonderful opportunity for anyone of us. So it is actually that which encouraged me to be working with the people here. But then Greenfield University comes with challenges, big challenges. You have to create something out of nothing. When nothing exists, you have to create it with starting point. So, number one is the question they asked. What are the subjects what are the disciplines we should start? There need not be very conventional ones. So something which is very important. So we did not start picking the topics or the subjects from what exists, but then we started with a philosophy. We said it should be futuristic, number one. It should have a global appeal, not just for the country, for anywhere else. It should also be unique in the higher education scene with some regard to national missions. It should be, in a sense, it may be rooted in classical engineering disciplines, but still be different, looking at very specialized and niche areas. And we should also play into our strength in Ramaiah Group. So we should see that what we already have, what type of advantage, what leveraging we can do with the existing systems of Ramaiah. So we started and looked at 7 different engineering disciplines. I just listed for the sake of information. Computer science and artificial intelligence, ubiquitous. You can't avoid it anywhere. Electrical sciences, type of missions that Pallam Raju mentioned, it's important. Aerospace engineering, Bangalore is the hub. And we have also talked about importance of aerospace engineering. Yesterday, panel members were talking about system science and engineering. That is one of the disciplines we are going to start here. Biological engineering, leveraging the type of facilities Ramaiah Group has already. Design and manufacturing, again, very critical to India. We have talked about it. And sustainability engineering is very important, looking at the environment. Added to that, we have management and business administration. And of course, we should have a foundational sciences school. This school of foundational sciences will begin with, we have the different disciplines like physics, chemistry, biology, mathematics, and also social sciences, as people have envisioned that we should have graduates who have rounded personalities. We did not look for large numbers for all of them in terms of student cohorts. It's going to be very limited. We are not trying to create large number of graduates, but I want a smaller number of very well-trained people. So that is why we are looking at something just about 1,000 students per year on the whole, across all disciplines put together. Now, having said all these things, having said these are all our vision, mission, goals and all that, we must show that we are very serious about what we are trying to do. Now, I must say, the first evidence of our seriousness, our honesty of purpose, is the fact we have got into knowledge partnership with the State University of New York at Albany. So this is, to me, it is an evidence of telling people we're not just talking. We are going to make things happen. So this is our first step. As you said, we have a long journey ahead. The second thing, I say that question that came up is, what is the curriculum? What type of curriculum we are going to design for this type of university? We didn't have faculty. It's a greenfield university. How are we going to create the curriculum? Are we going to use AI to get us the syllabi for all the courses? No. We wanted actually eminent people to work with us. One of the finest things, this I said a distinctive feature, we created boards of studies for all the different schools. Now, these boards of studies consist of very eminent people in the country, drawn from major institutions like IITs, Indian Institute of Science, and so on. They're all very well recognized, internationally known people. Now, they are working with us. I'm not looking at them as only those who are going to help us in the curriculum, which happens in the most universities. I am looking at these people as it's an academic think tank. They are the ones who are going to work with us all through. They are helping us in getting the faculty. They are helping also with the details of the curriculum. They are also giving us the connections to get faculty here and the well-known people here. So this constitution of boards of studies for RISM is one major step that we have taken. We are already working with all of them. There are almost 15 eminent people are with us on this ground. Second major step we have taken is already talked about a very imaginative, resilient engineering concept. We have talked about it yesterday. Said Professor Shastri came up and made the presentation about how we are going to have a very distinct type of education in RISM. And our management very readily accepted that. I said we should really go with that system. I think Mr. Gurucharan already said what it means. It's going to have common 2 years program out of the 4 years, and there are 4 years for the domain-specific courses. There will be a capstone project running through 6 semesters, which will address both immediate local problems all the way up to global problems. The students will be immersed, industry partnership will be brought in, and of course the final semester we are going to have a set of courses for advanced topic. This is the new type of plan that we have for the running the program at RISM, and we have already worked on the curriculum on this. We are almost ready for the semester beginning in August. So, a RISM engineer, therefore, we expected him to be somebody who can adapt himself in future, will be able to move across different disciplines, take up many different jobs, will not be scared of layoffs and loss of employment. He will be capable of taking up many different roles. I think that's the type of engineers we need to have. The next step we have taken is about the faculty development. Faculty, again, for a new university, is a challenge. Now, as I said, the boards of studies have really been very helpful in getting the faculty. We have actually recruited already numbers required for starting the program in August. But I must mention here, without any exception, all of them have doctoral degrees from very reputed universities. There's a mix of young and the seniors who are going to take up the challenges of going through this new curriculum that I just mentioned. We have mentor professors, very senior people, highly experienced. They are taken into the institution to see that our delivery system is actually done very well and to the spirit of what we should do for this curriculum. We are going to have professors of practice, not unusual in the Indian scene too, but they are going to work with us in the triad that he mentioned. I'll come to that again. We have one special position, a director for faculty development and training to mentor our faculty. It's an unusual position, not very common any place. Professor Shivakumar Shastri, will you please stand up and then let them know that what role you're going to play? Professor Shastri, who brought this new curriculum, is now taken as the director for faculty development and training. I think he has a very big task. I want him to follow pedagogical changes that are taking place around the world, technological changes taking around the world, and mentor our faculty to adapt them and then move forward. I mean, our students will be most beneficial with your services. I also must mention that for the Green University, we are looking at a residential campus, which is also important. It is fully residential. I think you will all appreciate that a residential university has many benefits. The fact all the students are going to stay in the campus, large number of faculty are going to be in the campus, and there will be, it is like almost like 24/7 learning. It's an experience in itself. I think that type of, some of us have had the fortune of going through IITs and IISc. We know what it means to be in a campus. Living in a campus of that nature itself is learning process. So this is the type of things that we have done to start with. Next point that I want to mention as to what action we have already taken is the triad that Mr. Venkatesh Alluri mentioned. We are going to have, along with RISM, we are going to have two sister institutions. One is to look at skill development, other one is to take research work to industry. So in some sense, RISM with the two sister institutions, if I'm permitted to use the metaphor, academic meltwork. We are going to have students and faculty get into this work. We are going to have industry learners, maybe apprentices, and also leaders come to that place. All of them together will be in a learning process. And that's going to be a great experience for those who are going to be part of this institution. I think that's going to be a major industrial immersion experience for all our students. I talked about the final part of it is residential campus. I said we are going to have students and the faculty together. I would like to see that the research laboratories lights are not going to be switched off. They should be working round the clock whenever they come. We are going to give a very flexible plan for the faculty. They should be able to come anytime and work. We're not going to close down. And we are also going to give them a very flexible timing. Our new faculty is sitting at the back, who must be very happy to listen to this. We are not going to restrict you to say, come at 9 and leave at 5. No, you can come at any time, but then please make sure that you meet all your responsibilities of teaching and guiding students and so on. But I think we'll give the flexibility. But we want to see you working beyond the working hours on weekends and on holidays when you have that, what I say, go to the laboratory and produce something. I think that type of facility will produce. I must say one thing more about the experiential learning. I must say, when I had the opportunity of going with Dr. Jairam and others to some universities, as I mentioned, Albany is one, which resonated with our vision, with our plans, and therefore we finalized. But then we did see a few. And an interesting part of the visit was that the leaders would not only go to laboratories, classrooms, have discussions with the leadership there, but they would say, whenever time permitted, they said, let's go and see the experiential space. Let's go and see where are the students when they're not in the classroom, when they're not in the laboratory, where are the students going to be? I think we specifically went and saw how the students enjoy those spaces. We have architects who worked with us, who also visited some of these places. They have created a wonderful architecture for the new campus with all these features built in, and it's, at this point I have to say, extremely impressive. I am looking forward to seeing that campus, being that campus in the next 2 years. So finally, what is our new graduate going to be like with all these things we are going through? I am looking at, as a RISM graduate, a competent and a confident engineer ready to tackle any social, industrial, or environmental problem. Most importantly, he should be a sensitive and responsible citizen. That's the type of graduate we are going to plan. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Raghunandan, for that comprehensive overview. I would now request the Honorable Chairman, Dr. M.R. Jairam, to please come over. Dr. Havidan Rodriguez, Sri Gurucharan Kolerkeri, Dr. Pallam Raju, Professor Raghunandan, also Professor Carol Kim, and Professor Tenakurusi Keshavadas. to please come over. And we heard a lot about the campus. Now, in the presence of the media, I would request our chairman and to shake hands with the president of the Albany University and release, kindly shake hands, sir, chairman, sir, with the yes, and release the film, the campus walkthrough film.
On behalf of RISM, it is my privilege to extend our heartfelt thanks to everyone for the occasion. This has been a momentous occasion, one that marks the beginning of a new chapter in our university's commitment to the excellence in teaching, research and skill development. We are especially thankful to Dr. Havidan Rodriguez and his esteemed team for coming to this event all the way from US. I express my sincere thanks to the members of the Board of Governors, BOM, Board of Members, and University Task Force for all your trust and guidance. I thank all the members of BOS, faculty and academic leaders for designing the curriculum, developing laboratories and academic programs. No doubt, your professionalism and passion are the foundation of our academic mission. A big thank to the event organizing committee, volunteers, and technical teams for the flawless execution. May I request the audience to please join your hands as a matter of appreciation. We are thankful to the media for covering all the events since 4 days and for sharing our story with the wider community. As we close the celebrations, let us carry forward the momentum and shared commitment. We pledge to transform this promise into fruitful action and produce graduates who will contribute meaningful to the society. Once again, I thank you all for making this event very successful. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. J.V. Desai, for very cordial words of thanks. Well, ladies and gentlemen, with this we come to the conclusion of the program. Please have your lunch and head back to your destination safely and securely. And let's together build the future. Namaskara, all of you take care, and dhanyavadagalu for being a part of this wonderful event where history is written under the leadership of Dr. Jairam. Thank you very much. Namaskara.